My wife called me an embarrassment for not driving a luxury car that was not representative of her lifestyle. So from now on, she'll be back in a cold, empty house. I met my wife when I was 15 in high school. She was 17. That latter part of my teenage years was probably the hardest of my life since, in half a year, I lost my mother. Never knew my dad, so she was the only thing I could consider family. At that time, me and my wife were only friends, but she was there for me and grieved with me. I think I started developing feelings for her during that time. We started dating when I was 17, and we got married 7 years later. For context, my wife was very frugal and not materialistic. She never cared about clothes, makeup, brands, cars, always spending money on thrift shops or during sales on whatever she liked. I remember trying to impress her with my 370Z just for her to react with, "What car is this? A Corolla?" But that's what I liked about her the most. She was also the most caring person I ever knew. She's the most successful in our family, always working in big corporations. I always worked as a community first responder for my local hospital. The salary wasn't high, but I loved my job, helping people as much as I could. Fast forward 2 years, she received an offer from an important company for an executive position, offering 4 times her salary, but we should have moved to a different city. At first, I was doubtful since that would have meant losing my job and not being sure if I could have contributed financially to our family indefinitely. Still, she said that she could have sustained the family effortlessly with this new job, and for that time, I could have looked after the house and groceries till I could have found a new job. Since she was so enthusiastic, I accepted. I was happy to support my wife's career. Well, my wife underwent a crazy transformation, some Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type thing. She started caring more about luxury brands, jewels, cars, etc. I couldn't believe seeing her coming back home with a Versace bag after years of wearing $10 coats from our local thrift shop. She also started hanging out with her new female coworkers a lot, which was surprising since my wife isn't very extroverted. I was happy for her at first, thinking she'd found her dimension after years of struggling. But that happiness faded when she started coming home later every day, until it was a miracle to talk to her for 10 minutes. I thought she was busy with work till she started posting lots of photos of her with coworkers drinking and shopping. She never had time to reply to my texts, but always had a minute to post photos. When she replied, she claimed she was working. She also stopped talking to me altogether. Have you ever experienced your spouse going to work with an Audi A3 and coming back with a Porsche Macan GTS? I confronted her, asking if it was a business-issued car, which it wasn't, and why she spent so much on a car when she never cared about cars before. Her response was that it's her money, and she was entitled to do as she pleased. She even disappeared for a night without replying to texts, only to call the following afternoon saying she forgot to tell me she left for a business trip. The worst was when she invited me for lunch with her coworkers. I was happy because it was the first time we were doing something together in months. My wife left first, so I dressed up and drove my Renault Clio, which I got after selling my 370Z years before. I parked in front of the restaurant, went inside only to see my wife staring at me, horror-stricken. She took me outside and insulted me for parking my Clio where everyone could see it, saying I embarrassed her and should have parked somewhere hidden. When I asked why, she said it was a cheap car, not representative of her lifestyle. She returned to the restaurant, warning me not to embarrass her again. I attended the rest of the lunch in shock, realizing the woman at my side wasn't my wife anymore. Now she's out celebrating with her company, and I'm home with divorce papers. I've tried talking to her about how she's changed, but she doesn't listen, saying she has no time or denying she's changed at all. She used to want kids, but now says they would rob time from her career. She wanted to travel, but won't for the same reason. I can't bring myself to discuss divorce because I hope somewhere inside her is still the woman I love. Update. After that business party, my wife didn't return home. I tried calling, but she didn't answer. She returned in the morning when I was about to leave to look for her. She claimed she stayed at a female coworker's house since she drank too much to drive. When I said I would have picked her up, she responded, "With what? The Clio?" Later, she approached me saying she had something to discuss. Surprisingly, she asked for a divorce, saying after talking to her friends, she realized I wasn't fit to be her husband, that we have different values and lifestyles, and that she deserves a man of similar worth. It was a low blow, but I just smiled. I proposed separating temporarily or couple therapy, but she was determined. She told me she wasn't involved with him, and I believed her. When I confronted her directly about the rumors, she immediately it would only make me feel worse. I feel calm, but inside I feel like I've lost an important piece of myself. The things she said didn't hurt me initially. However, the more I think about them, the more heartbroken I feel. However, seeing my dog so happy inside the Clio greatly improved my mood. He loves car rides. Even if things went down this road, I still wish her all the best.